Good morning. Beautiful day. But I thought I'd just come up on here right quick, do a quick video about, the whole part two. I wouldn't even call it part two, just me pretty much elaborating more on why leaving Philly was such a good decision, or one of those things I'm glad I made a decision in my life. I took a big leap. But to go back a little further, we're going to take it to the beginning. And like I said, I'm going to not drag this video out because I am driving on the highway. Atlanta traffic is fucking out of control. But just to jump straight into it, we'll get to it. Well, to go back to the beginning, I ended up in, I left Philadelphia back in 2013, exact. August 16, 2013 is when I made my departure from Philadelphia. And I'm not going to go too deep into why I left, but to make it like as brief as I could possibly can, I was going through a little summary situation of, separation from, family members and a lot of crazy things that was going on at the time. So it led me to move to Norfolk, Virginia, to be exact. Stayed out there for a little bit, of course, but it was to the point, I would say probably the first 3 months, it was peaceful for me because of the fact that, I ain't established of getting that kind of peace in a long time. Because when you in the city, you got family, you got responsibilities. You really don't have a whole lot of time to really gather yourself, think, or easily express whatever it is that you probably have going on. Now, some people, they drink, some people smoke, some people meditate, some people pray. Well, let's just say this. Back then, I wasn't smoking, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing really anything. Now, occasionally, I did quite a couple of those things, but it wasn't as often because, again, I had responsibilities. I had children. I had a wife at the time. I had a lot of shit that kind of just had me so grounded to only taking care of that I ain't indulge in too much. You get what I'm saying? So basically, anything that I've dealt with, I had to deal with it constantly on my own. If I had a little issue with, a mental day or anything of that nature, I pretty much predominantly dealt with it on my own. But of course, like they say, everyone has a breaking point. So that breaking point came that summer of August 2013. And again, I left, went to Norfolk, but I wasn't in Norfolk for too long. I think I went out there for about 3 months before I got homesick. So, of course, I came back. I think I came directly back. I'm not sure necessarily if I can remember that I had a thought process of coming back to Philly to stay permanently at first. But when I did come back home, of course, it was around tax return. It was around that January where I went back to Philly back around a little after Christmas. And then I think I stayed up there up until I would say about, I want to say up until about the 3rd week of March, probably, yeah. Probably around March. And I think it's around the time I got my tax return or whatever, excuse me, y'all, too much light. But I kind of got into, I got into the situational thing, whereas though I got my taxes, had a couple thousand, and jetted right the hell back down to Norfolk, where it was peaceful at, of course. Because even in the process of me being back home, for those few months, it seems like nothing really much changed, between family members, folks, friends, associates. It was just one of those uncomfortable things. And the saying that most people may say, or you may have heard it before, once you get a taste of living somewhere where it's completely, utterly peace and quiet, and there's not really too many people that knows of you or know you, you pretty much establish your whole recycle of living at that point, in my opinion. So to get back on track, I ended up going back to Norfolk. Stayed down there. Eventually got a job. And of course, as I'm, establishing myself with work and all that other stuff, I got into one of those things where as though, I was having a lot of trouble time missing my children very deeply, to the point where it was nice. I would, have a lot of heartache, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of, guilt. And then just as that was rolling around, I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to give it one more chance to go on back home and make this right. Not just for me, but at the same time on the strength of my children. So that happened. And I would say I did that. Moved back home. Physically was back, I want to say 2015. I can't quite remember. I want to say early 2015 I went back home. An ex-friend of mine was one of those people that he helped me get set up when I got back home, helped me get a couple of dollars up for my apartment, which I was, renting out from my father at the time, which that's a whole nother story. But at the same time, I ended up getting an apartment. Well, not an apartment. I'm not saying apartment, a room. I rented a room out from my father and this person that I was associated with for a while, or some years along that. He helped me get myself in a situation to, be able to pay the rent, make sure I had food, all that good stuff. But the thing is that, when I was living up there, and mind you, I came and went back up there, and I lived a whole year back in Philly. I went up there and lived up there for a whole year. And like I said, it was for the sake of myself, trying to see if I could reestablish, my self-identity back in the city of Philly, but also, still try to gain that damn, that missing piece of me, which was my children. And the first, I would say, first or 2 months, it was okay. I thought things was moving up. I instantly got up there, got a job, working for Amazon, and doing some things, making some things in order. Was I able to see my children as much as I would have liked to? No. Would I like to have done a lot more things with them? Yes. Was there a bunch of damn bullshit in between trying to, I guess, father or co-parent and all that other stuff going on back then? It was very hard. Very hard. But I'm not going to go into detail because, again, my children may see this nut-ass video, or their mother, or whoever else that may have, some disdain about it. But at the same time, I tried to, do it, the co-parenting thing, the best that I could up there. But that just was it was a show. I'll just be honest about it. But anyway, it got to the point, rolling on down to, like, I would say 2016, about late 2016 is when I said, you know what, I had enough. Enough is enough. A lot of people that I know is getting killed up here. The relationship with my children isn't the same as that much. It's not making no excuse, but just the same, like, when things just ain't the same, or things ain't once right, and you feel your soul completely like slipping away from you, like you just don't care. That's the place I was in. I didn't care whether, what happened to me at that point. I was just that unhappy. But then something consciously woke me up and said, okay, Dante, Philly is not for you no more. It's just not it. No matter what you try to do, no matter how hard you try, no matter how you try to make it right, it's not the same. And the same support system you once had is not there anymore. So at this point, are you going to make a decision based on, that's going to help you in the long future, or are you going to sit here and suffer? So I moved back to Norfolk and stayed there for, I would say, from 2016, all the way up until November of last year. And to get straight to it, yes, I moved to Georgia. What led me to Georgia, you had to jump in my comment, you had to jump in my IG, whatever. We'll have a further conversation about that. I'm just venting, having a little moment and mourning today just throwing a little bit of my little story out there. Because the truth be told, I ain't do the video all the way I want to. I should have went in more detail, but I'm just giving y'all a rough draft of why leaving Philly was important. So to get back to it, I get down here to Georgia, and you're talking about a place that's wide open. I'm talking about it's wide open for you to become an entrepreneur, to a place where you can kind of establish your own identity. Like I said, you can establish your identity anywhere. You can establish your identity in Alaska. But at the end of the day, if you talk about some place where as though you can thrive and it's not too many people, you know, that you really fuck with or, you know, partaking into, you're good. You're good. And I honestly think, you know, by me moving here was one of the best things I've ever could have done. And then it's someday soon I'm going to pretty sure share the same story with my children and tell them, you know, because of course they're still in Philadelphia up until this point, and I pray for them every day. Every day I pray for them. Not just on the strength that the Lord keep them safe, but more importantly that we can, you know, eventually I can have them down here with me and show them something different than Philadelphia. Well, take them places, man, that they ain't been before, for real. Show them a whole wide open, you know, map of, you know, what the world's got to offer out here. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, that's my time, y'all. Let me go get off this goddamn phone because state troopers and everybody out here in Atlanta is kind of wicked. But I'll get back to y'all with a video later. Meantime, be blessed, be safe, and love your family while they're here, because you never know when you'll be able to hug them again.